You are born in a castle soaked in gold and shame. Your first cradle isn't a blanket of love. It's lion-embroidered silk, stiff with pride. The walls echo with legacy and paranoia. Mostly paranoia, because being a Lannister means one thing above all else. You owe. Even before you know what the word debt means, you feel it. In the way your wet nurse bows too low. In the way your mother watches you like you might sprout horns. In the way your father, if he even acknowledges your existence, measures you like you're a half-minted coin. And God's help you if you're the wrong kind of Lannister. If you're a boy, congratulations. You're probably already disappointing Tywin. You'll feel it in his stare, that cold lion's glare that seems to measure your spine and find it lacking. You're expected to be a war strategist by age 9, a statesman by 11, and a stone-faced killer by 15. Show too much kindness, weak, too much curiosity, distracting, too much humor, embarrassing. You're supposed to be a lion, but one with a monocle, a sword, and absolutely no feelings. Gods forbid you cry. Tywin will have you studying tax policy until the tears dry from shame. Maybe you try to impress him, learn the history of every bannerman, master the art of the backhanded compliment, even kill something big and terrifying. Doesn't matter. You'll always be second to what he wanted you to be. And if you're not the golden eldest, if you're the clever one or the smallest one, or the one with a fondness for wine and books, then you're not a son, you're a stain, a complication to be hidden, tolerated, or used. You're not family, you're strategy, you're damage control in a doublet. If you're a girl, oh, you are valuable, not loved, not cherished, valuable, like a crown jewel that can be thrown across a map to seal a trade deal. Your life is a long, slow auction. The moment you can curtsy without falling over, you're being appraised. Hair, hips, hymen, all part of the portfolio. Your mother teaches you how to smile like it's sincere. Your maids teach you how to walk like you're floating. And your father, he teaches you silence, because the less you say, the more they want you. You learn that beauty is a weapon, but only if you never use it for yourself. You're supposed to be seductive but chaste, powerful but obedient, clever but never visibly smarter than your future husband, who will almost certainly be terrible. And when that marriage comes, and it will come, usually to a man twice your age with half your soul, you are expected to lie back and think of Casterly Rock. You're not a person. You're a diplomatic envelope sealed in silk. And if you ever dare want more, power, freedom, something resembling joy, then congratulations. You're now a liability, a rogue Lannister. And there's nothing more dangerous to the family than a woman who stops pretending. You learn early. The family motto isn't "hear me roar." That's just the gilded version they etch on goblets and whisper to bards. The real one, the one carved into your bones, is more like, "do not embarrass us." It's unspoken, but always there, floating in the room like the faint scent of dead flowers. You feel it when you drop your fork at dinner and 3 heads turn in perfect unison. You feel it when your tutor slaps your hand for asking the wrong kind of question. You feel it when you see your mother's lips twitch because your laugh was just a little too loud. Everything is a performance. Polished shoes, perfect posture, emotions ironed out and hidden under velvet. You don't get to be messy or silly or honest. You get to be impressive, useful, impeccably dressed, and emotionally constipated. You're not being raised. You're being sculpted like a statue meant to impress gods you'll never meet. And the worst part, you start to sculpt yourself. You swallow the truth so many times you forget its taste. You learn how to smile through disgust, to nod through rage, to betray yourself in a way that earns applause. Because in House Lannister, reputation isn't everything, it's the only thing. You are rich beyond comprehension, disgustingly rich. Gold flows through your life like water. You bathe in it, dine on it, wear it like skin. Your shoes are stitched by candlelight from leather that once belonged to an animal rarer than your emotional stability. Your birthday cakes are architectural marvels. Your bed sheets are imported from somewhere no one in the castle can pronounce. You don't walk. You glide through corridors flanked by servants who know your bloodline better than your favorite color. And if you ever suffer, you better suffer in silence, because no one wants to hear a Lannister complain. What do you have to cry about with your sapphires and silk? Your sadness is offensive. Your pain is performative. You're a tragedy in designer boots. And yet, despite the extravagance, the wine, the roaring fireplaces, and 1,000 thread count distractions, you don't sleep well. There's a rot beneath the luxury, and you can feel it. You can smell it between the flowers. You know your house was built on blood. Some of it's still fresh. You lie awake wondering which of your relatives is going to stab which other one, and whether your name will be in the next bard's tale as a footnote or a cautionary headline. Because everyone hates you, and not in that envious, jealous, I want your life kind of way. No, they hate you like a wildfire hates a forest. With purpose, with heat, with history. You are what people blame when their lives fall apart. You're a symbol, a walking vault with trust issues, and deep down, you understand why. Ugh, a Lannister. I wonder how many people they stabbed to get that chair. I heard their uncle died on a toilet. You watch your family become memes in real time. It starts as whispers, then jokes, then outright legends, twisted and tossed like rotten fruit in the streets of King's Landing. At first, it's background noise. Drunk merchants muttering under their breath, children mocking your walk with lion masks and fake crowns. But then the songs start, crude little ditties about your mother, your brother, you, things that never happened, or worse, things that did. Your family's worst moments become punchlines in every tavern from Flea Bottom to Dorne. Joffrey's death, a comedy of choking noises and pantomime. Tywin's death, a farce involving chamber pots and trumpet sound effects. The Red Wedding, they've turned it into a stage play with snacks. Your pain is profitable. Your shame is syndicated. Your downfall is a franchise. And it spreads. Raven by raven, rumor by rumor, until even the people who serve you snicker behind closed doors. Your family, once feared, respected, immortal, is now just material. You're no longer legends. You're late night entertainment. You're gossip with gold trim. You're the punchline to the realm's favorite joke. A Lannister always pays their debts, especially karmic ones. Your reflection is perfect and exhausted. You look like someone who should be winning. Cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass, hair spun from sunlight, posture trained into permanence. But you're hollow in the eyes. You've mastered the art of lying with your face. Every blink a bluff, every smile a contract clause. You've become fluent in the dialect of deception. Nods, sighs, silences. Your body's a mask that never comes off. Not at feasts, not in the war room, not even when you're alone. Especially not then. You've smiled through marriages, murders, and meals with people who want you dead. You've toasted to alliances you didn't agree to, raised glasses at funerals you secretly celebrated, and kissed hands that once tried to poison you. That's what being a Lannister means. Grace under fire, dignity under duress, rot under roses. And yet, some nights you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Not out of fear, not out of shock, but because that version of you, the soft one, the unguarded one, is gone, smothered beneath years of expectation, guilt, and perfectly applied rouge. You look perfect, you are perfect, and you've never felt more fake. But sometimes, just sometimes, there's a crack in the armor, a hairline fracture in the gold plating. It happens in quiet places, the ones where the walls aren't listening, where the torches burn low, where your family name feels a little less loud. Maybe it's a moment in the gardens at dusk, your fingers brushing against a rose that hasn't yet wilted. Maybe it's your brother sneaking you a lemon cake when you're too upset to eat at the table. Maybe it's your sister letting her hand linger in yours a second too long, eyes soft with something dangerously close to love. You laugh, really laugh, and for that sliver of a second, you forget who you are. You're just a child in a castle, wanting someone to understand you without an agenda. You talk about books, about dreams, about what life might look like if you weren't born into a bloodstained fairy tale. And for a fleeting moment, you let yourself believe you could be something other than what the world demands of you. Not a lion, not a legacy, just a person. But that moment never lasts. It can't. Because in House Lannister, vulnerability is a liability, and love is a loaded weapon with no safety. So you smother those moments. You bury them beneath wit, wine, and walls. You pretend they never happened. You rehearse your coldness like it's a second language, because you've seen what happens to the ones who let their guard down. They don't make it to the end. In the end, it doesn't matter how smart you were, or how hard you tried, or how many debts you paid in blood and schemes. The House of Lannister falls, not in a blaze of glory, but in a slow-motion disaster filmed from every angle. The world watches your legacy crumble and collapse, because no one roots for the Lannisters. They root for your extinction. You were born into gold, but you die in dust. Not a monster, not a hero, just a Lannister. And despite everything, despite all the wine and war and whispered names, you remember one thing, clear as crystal: a Lannister always pays their debts, but no one tells you the interest is your soul.